We're going to do some core exercises now on the ground, and we're going to have a chair in front of us. Now this is quite a solid chair, so I recommend you to have a solid chair. Again, not one of those flimsy plastic ones, if it's possible. Otherwise, if you have one of those chairs, then put something heavy on it in some way, or place it against the wall. Okay, so what are we going to do here now? First of all, we're going to liberate again those muscles that are really tense due to sitting for too long and also emotional tension. So we're going to hold onto the chair on the sides, or we're going to place our arms quite firmly. Move the knees back. I've got a double soft mat under my knees. If you don't do that, then place a blanket folded under your knees, please, for protecting your patella. Now I'm creating space here, and I'm doing a little bit of traction. So as you can see, I'm not dropping my back in this position. I'm not rounding either. I'm just trying to keep it as neutral as possible, walking a little bit away from it until I create space. And I'm just going to take a moment here to breathe. And my breathing is going to be going from the base of the spine to the top of your head, and then down from the top of your head to the base of the spine. A lot of people don't think of this as core practice, but taking that breath from the back of your body, lengthening, opening, creating space, it's going to help us work with that core in a more functional way, rather than just building tension over tension. And allow the movement now of the breath to initiate movement in the spine, a movement in the back. As you inhale and exhale, your body moves with the breath, but very slightly. It's a very slight movement. The abdomen is engaged inwards, belly button towards the spine, creating that very slight oscillation movement with the breath. The breath is really, really going along the spine. Allow the spine to move with the breath. Very slowly making circles with your sacrum, almost like with your tail, but the upper part of the body is fixed. Making circles, but the upper part of your body is fixed. Make circles with the lower part of your body. Inhaling and exhaling. That's the one. But the upper part of the body stays fixed. Your feet can be in this position, and they can be flexed if you find it really hard. And then change direction. That's it. Remember, the tail is moving. And you're going to really feel the warming up of the core as the upper part stays fixed. That's it. And this is a way of working with your core, but without rounding your back. Changing direction a few times. See what feels comfortable for you. That's it. But the upper part of the body stays fixed. And you're just engaging the very, very low part of your core to make those circles. And then slowly come up. Okay, so I probably have a mark on my head from this, but it feels really amazing to work like this, keeping the upper part of the body fixed, which is no problem because we have it lengthened, but then the lower part of the body is moving, and that way we engage the core at a very profound level. Okay, so now we're still going to use the chair. Again, to make it really safe, you can keep it close to a wall or leaning against the wall. I'm going to use a brick or whatever you have that is handy. It could be a book. And again, now what we're going to do is we're going to move from the core back and forth. We're going to inhale, engage the buttocks a little. Don't drop too much because then you compress your facet joints at your back of your spine. And then down. Inhale forward. It's micro movement, so it's not very intense. It's not going all the way up and back. No, it's a tiny little bit, really like a pendulum, like swinging forward and back. Pushing from the core. Notice how your buttocks also engage a tiny little bit when you go forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Don't push yourself too far. It's just a tiny. The more you sustain it there, if you drop it, you lose the engagement of the core. So we keep it there. Inhale back. Exhale. Let's do it 3 times. Looking straight ahead. Again, think of lengthening. We're not dropping forward or dropping back. I'm kind of staying in a very limited movement. And release. Okay. So, one last practice. Again, these practices are not about over-flexibility or hypermobility. It's actually about keeping the space really tight because the core is holding us. And first we've done a practice of liberating and opening the core, releasing the tension. And then we go onto the core practice. And the core practices that we do all the time in this series is going to be while your spine is lengthened. So, one last practice on this side, and I quite like this practice, as a matter of fact, because then I'm going to work with my obliques, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto the side of the body, and it's not too hard to do this. Sometimes the side plank can be a little bit difficult if you have a shoulder injury. You don't need to do this one. You can also do it on the chair, and I can demonstrate to you as well how to do this one. But what we're going to do is very simple. We keep the one leg on the ground and another one extended here. Again, make sure you flex the foot. By flexing the foot, I'm engaging all my toes, big toe and up to the pinky, so that way I'm engaging the inside of the leg and the outside of the leg. So I'm going to inhale, raise up, and exhale. Don't go all the way back. Inhale, raise up, and exhale. It's only a tiny little bit. If you go all the way, then you're not going to engage anymore. You're going to recruit the joints instead of the muscles. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift up, and exhale. And come up. Now, if this is a little bit too hard, all you can do as well is simply lift back up and then down. So, hand onto the hip, inhale up and exhale, just a little bit, exhale. And here you are recruiting the obliques. And release, and release. And this is probably going to burn, and if you have shoulder pain here when you're doing this, that means that your shoulders might not even be strong enough for doing chaturangas. So that core is a very important area to work with to begin with. So I'm going to keep again one leg onto the floor, the other one extended. I'm making sure that my toes are engaged. And again, I bring my shoulder in this position and I'm going to raise from the hips. There we go. And inhale and exhale. Only a tiny little bit. Exhale. So I'm not taking it into a deep twist, because if I take it to a deep twist, then I'm going to compress my spine. One more. And release. Okay, so the other option is, again, hand onto the hip, and then just simply lifting. Moving from here. Keeping open Again, I'm moving my core, but I am not in any way rounding forward. Now that is quite an intense practice. So practice, do 3, do 4. If you have shoulder pain doing this, that means that maybe the core is not strong enough. So therefore the shoulder is taking on all the work. Or maybe you've been doing too many chaturangas and perhaps you have a problem with the shoulder. So that is not a problem. There's also another way that this can be done, which is with the full arm onto the floor. And this is the other option. Simply doing this is already going to engage your core. So give this a go. Looking up, that's it. And this lovely way of engaging the core. Yeah. Yes, and we go to the other side. The nice thing about it is that I'm engaging the core while lengthening and opening. There we go. So we're not pushing forward, but actually staying in a stable position here. And you can look up or look to the side, whatever feels nice for you. And here you are engaging the core muscles. Yeah, and this is perhaps something that is more comfortable for you and more accessible. Again, engaging that core, but without hunching forward and working from the core from all the different angles. So feel it, take a moment, and see where you feel it. Just take a moment. Are there any places you feel you've engaged? And from here, we're going to go down to the floor, lying down.